Hello, hello, hello. I want to welcome you all to this episode of the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. And I think today's show is so fitting for where we're at in our world. AI is taking over, y'all. It's just taking over, honey. And I'm so excited to have my hubby, Dr. Ramsey here today, who's going to be teaching us all about AI without the overwhelm, because we've been out there, we've been in the streets, and we know that y'all are overwhelmed. Even I get overwhelmed sometimes. So we're going to talk about how to not be overwhelmed, but how to integrate it into your life and what it actually is. So we're going to answer your burning questions on today's show right after this. All right, love, welcome back to the show. Of course.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here.
You're becoming quite a regular on the show. I'm gonna have to change the name in a minute to Dr. Ramsey's shows. So welcome. We're going to be talking about AI. You are no stranger to AI, but most other people are. You are the Chief Technical Officer, the CTO of PCADI, the Positive Psychology Coaching and Diversity Institute. And you do all things tech in our organization. And so as fitting as it is, a lot of people probably don't know about AI, or what we've heard when we've been at conferences, when you've spoken, people say they don't know where to start. So we're going to give them a little playbook today on terms of where to start and all that kind of stuff. But before we do that, I want you to share what your biggest superpower is for the audience.
All right, my biggest superpower is strategy, looking at things and figuring out the right places to put them.
Yeah, and it's so good. Like it's so fitting. That is definitely you, and that's why you're so good at this thing called AI. And so everybody's been talking about it, right? It's everywhere. People are blaming AI for them losing their jobs and everything like that. But before we even dive in, what is AI? It just seems like it popped up on the scene and we're like, wait, what happened? I mean, I know I did. So can you explain to people what AI is?
Yeah, AI is a machine-assisted technology that does stuff for us. And it really didn't pop out of nowhere. We've been using AI for the past 20 years. Anyone who's ever typed a message in their on their phone and had an autocorrect decide what they want a word to be, whether right or wrong, they've been using AI.
Well, it'd be wrong all the time. For me, at least. I'm like, what? I look back at a message that I sent and I'm like, when did I say that? But you're saying that has been AI all the time.
Yep. So it's some of the first consumer facing AI that we've seen. And if you ever use Grammarly or things like that, it's technology that looks at what you're working on and try to figure out what's the next best thing. Our current state of AI is just an expansion on that. It's a lot bigger, works a lot better. The mistakes are masked a little bit better.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so we've been using it, but they just been perfecting the technology over time, and here we are, right? Like we're here, and we're all trying to figure out how to manage this. And so, can you talk about why is it feeling so overwhelming to a lot of people? Because you've done so many talks, and it's truly overwhelming to people who just are like, wait, what is it? And how do I use it best? So why is it so overwhelming?
I mean, the first thing is the first time you use AI is like a revelation. It's like so amazing that you can put something into a chat box and it can return something that's really useful. Like that whole paradigm has been, refreshing. Like a technology that actually does something and you don't have to put in a lot to get something out of it.
Yeah.
So that excitement has spread from us individual consumer users all the way up through big enterprise. So the first thing everyone ever thinks when we get a machine that can do something is like, well, can this replace a person? So a lot of enterprises have been looking for ways to cut their bottom line, how to have more reliable people. So they've been flirting with the idea of, well, maybe this is good enough that we can reduce headcount. So there's been a lot of things going on is trying to figure out what is the real capability, what can it do, what who can it replace, who can it not replace, and there's just been a lot of confusion, anxiety, just with people trying to figure out well what to do with this thing, and for the most part trying to figure that out without even understanding what it is.
Yeah. 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 Because, people have said, that they don't know where to start. What are some of the common misconceptions that you can clear up about AI? I mean, you mentioned it, replacing people. Is it going to replace people? Right? Like, what are some of these misconceptions that a lot of us may have about AI and our ability to utilize it or anything?
Well, the first misconception is that AI is closer to a human thinking than it is to your phone autocorrect.
Mm. Mm. Okay. Well, it seems human. I'll tell you, when I type my stuff into chat or whatever, it'd be like, "Hey, Dr. Kiki Ramsey, that's a great thought." It act like it know me, honey.
hmm Yeah, it talks to you real good. I compare it to the way they make cereal taste very good, but if you eat it every day, it's not healthy for you.
Okay.
Yeah, the AIs has been designed to be helpful, to be very encouraging, and that's one of the biggest dangers with it is that it doesn't think, so it doesn't know that doing that is harmful to people.
Mm. Mm. Interesting. So it doesn't think, but it's meant to sound like it thinks.
Yeah, it imitates thinking, but what it really does, it predicts. Like if you it's just the same way where if you're talking to someone and they've said the same thing to you 10 times in a row, you can
Mm-hmm.
complete their sentences. If no one knew the dynamic, they think that you're just amazing, that you can just understand what people are thinking and saying without them finishing their sentences. But it's just repetition and memory and prediction because you've trained on a lot of similar questions and you can give back similar answers, even if you don't understand what those answers mean.
Okay. Okay. I get it. I get it. So right now, we're hearing all these things about like you better hop on the bandwagon because it ain't going nowhere. AI is like the cassette tape, that went away, or blockbusters who, DVDs. Like, I mean, like they don't even make cars with DVD players anymore. Like all those things are obsolete. So why is right now the time to potentially hop on the AI bandwagon? Or is it the time to hop on the bandwagon and try to figure this thing out?
Yeah, it's the time because it's a useful tool. You just have to learn how to use it. It's transformational in the same way that Excel was transformational. Prior to Excel, accountants had to do handwritten ledgers and do manual calculations. And then the transition to digital tools that can do that a lot quicker. Now, some
Yeah.
people can barely use Excel. Some people are wizards. But that
Right.
don't. But there's a place for everybody within that spectrum, and AI will find its same equilibrium.
Mm. So you saying that if I'm not techie, I can still get pretty decent at using AI.
Absolutely, and it's
Okay.
yeah. I mean, the only trouble with AI is not using it as a tool is pretty great, but when you try to use it to replace any type of a human function, that's where you get into
Mm.
trouble. So the average person is going to be great with AI. The people that's going to really struggle are organizations attempting to integrate it into the way they do business every day.
Yeah. And I think that's what we're seeing as well. I think organizations, right? Because we are a training and development company, coaching company, and we go in and we, do trainings on AI and all that. And we are seeing that, it's just a little bit different in terms of implementation when it comes to an organization versus a person.
Yeah, because for a single individual person using AI, the stakes are pretty low. But for an organization, a mistake by AI can lead to a lot of trouble. There's legal
Mm-hmm.
consequences, compliance, all of those frameworks that rely on precision and accuracy can really be harmed by AI if you're not careful.
True. Yeah. Yeah. And we've seen and heard some stories. I think one, AI stuff got all the way to a brief got all the way to the Supreme Court and all that kind of stuff. And there's a couple big consulting firms that have put out AI generated reports and charged hundreds of thousands of dollars for these reports. And the stuff cannot be fact checked. It is not research based. And they've been able to, essentially, I'm not sure if they got away with it, but this is the product that they put out, right? And so I think that there's definitely a lot of risk involved with AI, but like you said, there's so many benefits to AI. And so if you're a person who is just brand new, who is looking at AI and like, I just learned how to send an email. or I don't know, right? Like, what's the first place you would tell somebody to start who wanted to begin implementing AI in their everyday life?
Yeah, I would start with developing good habits. As humans, we
Mm-hmm.
like to follow the path of least resistance.
Mm.
So that's the biggest appeal to AI. It can do
Yeah.
things for us that reduces friction in our life. But the best use of AI is not to reduce friction, but to support the things that you're doing. Like, don't have AI write your document for you. Write it first and have it do a spot check for you. Have it analyze your tone. Have it give you ways to enhance what you're doing.
Mm.
Absolutely use it for brainstorming. Maybe you're in front of a white screen and you're trying to figure out some ideas to start. You can query chat, hey, give me 3 starting points based off of this particular topic. It does very good at those types of things. And that way you can start figuring out how to enhance your current workflows.
Yeah, I love that because you're saying don't have it do it for you because then what I think it does, it takes away like your train of thought sometimes, like when you have it do it all for you. And so, yeah, so that's, I think that that's a really, really good place to start is building good habits. Are there any other habits that we need to build as we start using AI?
No, that's the biggest thing. What you want what you want to do is use it as an advisor. I might give an example. As I was prior to being a full-time CTO, I was a full-time developer. I used a lot of automation tools, and I found that we had auto completion in my IDE that I wrote code with. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically if you start typing, it fills in the rest of the code. I had to start turning all of that off so I could start writing myself because skill erosion starts to creep in. And that's where
Yeah.
you use AI so much that you start forgetting to do the things that you knew how to do.
Oh my God. It's so funny. Skill erosion. It's like if I was to let, which this can't happen, but AI learn how to tie my shoe, I might forget how to tie my shoe because I let it tie my shoe so much. And so I think that term is so, yeah, like, I'm sure we ain't got no studies because AI is just out, but I'm curious. I'm curious to kind of see what happens in the future with this whole topic of skill erosion. What are your thoughts?
No, there's plenty of literature on skill erosion right now, and
Oh.
it's really started centering around education moving to digital delivery formats. And there's
Mm.
been a numerous amount of studies that show that physically reading a book versus using the screen, the stickiness is much higher for retaining information.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then using audio and using videos, all those things have less stickiness because there's less friction to learning.
Yeah. I can see that because I'm a big audiobook girl. And I tend to, go towards audiobooks because it's easier and I feel like I can get them in when I'm like walking on the treadmill or going for a walk outside or a run or something like that. I can't run reading a book, right? And so it's a lot harder for me to actually read, but I do notice when I pick up a book, I be like, I'm slow. I'm like, and I feel like that's maybe an example of skill erosion because I don't read as fast as I want to read, which also then is a loop-de-loop because it deters me from then, picking up the book. And I'm just like, you know what? I'll just get the audiobook.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't put that as skill erosion. That's just the example of friction that we're talking about.
Mm.
Looking at a book, looking at the words, and then creating a mental map in your mind about what the words are saying, that's a lot. Compared to, having someone describe something to you and you listening to it. It's not the same amount of effort. So
Yeah.
reading will always be slower than listening or viewing on a screen, but that's the stickiness. That's how you remember a little bit better. So there's a lot of studies on that reducing friction with digital tools leads to erosion, and AI just kicks it up another notch because it can do those skills for you so much faster and such a wider variety that your skill erosion base is much wider.
Mm. So, you know, with all this talk of like AI replacing people and all this kind of stuff, and you firmly believe that, AI is not really gonna replace people, or what are your beliefs around that?
Yeah, it's not capable of replacing people because it's not capable of thinking.
Okay.
The
Gotcha.
biggest asset a human has is to be able to think creatively, to be able to
Mm-hmm.
problem solve on the fly, to be able to make inferences on small pieces of unconnected data. And AI needs a continuous chain of relationships and correlations in order to make decisions. A person doesn't. And until it can really do that, there's no way a machine can
Right.
replace a person. It can function and do a task, but it
Okay.
can't replace a person.
Okay. And so people will argue with you like, I can probably replace some people who are doing these tasks, even if I just have one person who can oversee and think about this task in a way that it needs to be thought about from a human perspective.
You can replace a person doing a task, but on the other side, you have to introduce an additional person to make sure and supervise the machine in a
Mm-hmm.
way that the person originally doing the task didn't have to be supervised. So you're shifting the work rather than replacing a worker.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Because I know people are scared, right? Like there's so many things going on in our economy that, is super hard, to think about like your job being replaced, right? And so you mentioned that, you know, we need to start, doing AI by having great habits, right? Like letting it assist you. And you did a talk on AI is a um not a solution, but it's meant to help you. What do you mean by that? Because right now we're trying to figure out how to integrate AI in our daily life, and how do we let it assist us versus like do everything for us, or
Yeah, I'll give an example, and I'm not going to diminish that AI isn't changing the way and the expectations we work, and there is some
Mm-hmm.
real warrant in being concerned about where we go now that AI is here. Me and I yesterday had the opportunity to do an event at City of Refuge here in Atlanta. It's a local organization that supports people transitioning, and they have a program in where they train individuals to with skills, and they just had a cybersecurity class that recently graduated. So I had the opportunity to speak with the students, and you know, entry level hiring is hard. People are looking for the
Mm-hmm.
AI to replace junior level hiring, and that's a real thing. So it's something to be concerned about.
Mm-hmm.
So going back to AI as a tool, some of my advice to the students is dealing with reality. The bar for entry level hiring has raised. So how do we fill that
Mm-hmm.
gap?
Mm-hmm.
Luckily enough, AI actually exists, and it's a tool that can help you with that. So the paradigm has shifted. You don't just finish your program and get a job, or finish a degree and get a job. Employees are expecting some kind of a practical ability. So AI is a great tool to become a mentor, help you get better at these things that you learned in your program. Learn how to develop an MVP, learn how to improve cybersecurity, learn how to get a deeper understanding of the things you do. So you use the tool in order to help raise your floor of ability. And it's relatively cheap at this point, so this is the time to do it.
Yeah, that's interesting. You use the tool that they're trying to replace you with or make you better with to make yourself better.
Yeah, it's the key is, how can I differentiate myself from the machine? So you take what the machine you can do and you layer it with what only a human can do, and then you can create a
Mm-hmm.
propelling value proposition for yourself as a employee.
Yeah, I know you were talking about, once before, like how you used to be a programmer, or do a lot of, computer programming. And you AI can get it wrong. And in order to know what AI got wrong, you have to be skilled in programming in order to do that. And junior engineers or junior programmers may not know all of that stuff just yet. And so then what's the solution? Like, I mean, is there a solution to
Yeah, AI is the solution. The solution is to get better at your fundamentals. If you're into computer science, understanding all the base algorithms. If you're a programmer, understanding the design patterns, and you can do that with AI support. If you're
mm,
using it to code, don't just accept the solution on its face.
mhm,
Ask it, why did it pick this solution? What percentages of previous solutions that used it? Are there any other alternatives? What are the side
yeah,
effects for using those things? So it's going beyond throwing a prompt in and getting an answer and walking away.
right.
This next age and this next paradigm is going to be about contextualizing data and information
Mhm.
and opportunities, rather than just accepting them without question.
Mm. Yeah, no, I mean, challenge everything, right? Um, you know, uh, but the majority of us are not programmers, right? So the majority of us are regular people who may feel overwhelmed by just the sheer thought of using AI, but we've dabbled in it and we try to use it on a day-to-day basis, that kind of thing. And so for someone like me, somebody who's new, who's somebody who doesn't, kind of know where to start, what kind of tools or strategies do you recommend we use to boost our productivity when using AI? Because I want to use it efficiently, but I also don't want to waste no time.
Yeah, so the first thing is giving your AI boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a thing called a system prompting where you can preload instructions into your AI. So
Mm-hmm.
you want to do things like tell it that I don't want you to agree with me on everything. I want you to be a knowledgeable critic that can give me constructive feedback on my ideas. I want you to
Uh,
only give me data that's been vetted and that can be cited, and I want the citations so that you can verify all of the data that is used. one thing AI does that most people don't realize is that the G stands for generative
Mm,
but in LLM. So it will create answers for you
mm,
if a real answer doesn't exist. So some of your pre-instructions can be how how unique is this answer on a percentage scale? Did you do not generate any answers and only give me real answers that I can search? So there are a number of
yeah.
things we can preload it with to give it guardrails. They don't always
Mm,
work, so that's why you just need to know that you still need to fact check always. But if you start with instructions, you start with a better output from the beginning.
yeah, no, that's cool because I'm guessing the better your instructions are, the more you'll get out of like whatever the prompt is, like the what AI spits out for you.
Yes, you want to be very specific and very granular in the request you give it,
Mm.
because the more room you give it to freelance, the more
Yeah.
trouble it'll get you in.
Yeah, I know that. Oh, sure. So, here at PCADI, we talk a lot about human centered AI. Would you explain what human centered AI is?
Yeah, so AI in itself is a probability machine. It makes guesses based off of previous data. So if your training data is biased based upon the foundation of our current system,
Hmm.
the answers will follow suit. So when we're looking at a human centered use of AI, we're looking at injecting ourselves into the full life cycle of our AI use. We don't let it dictate the terms of what's being output. We make sure that our intention and our human thought is represented in the AI. So understanding it can be biased, it won't make it won't make decisions that include care for the outcomes of people. So we have to
Mm.
be responsible for that.
Wow, wow. And I think that's where we're going to need to go, especially in our organizations, right? Because a lot of us are trying to incorporate it into our organizations, but we need to make sure that it's with care and we understand and, and all of that. Oh my God, this is so good because I know that, and I hope you all are taking away these nuggets and stuff like that. So, how can individuals ensure that we are using AI responsibly? Right? Because there was this question that was asked of you during your last presentation at Life University, and it was, "Am I cheating?" Right? If I have AI like do my email or whatnot, am I cheating? And I think that is a question that a lot of us are asking, especially in terms of academia. You and I both teach full-time at Life University, and we are having a hard time, like even just with our discussion posts and everything like that, in terms of the students turning in AI generated answers. So what is it? How can we use it responsibly? Are we cheating when we get the help and all of that stuff?
Yeah, it's cheating when it generates an answer for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you tell chat, for instance, look at this question and write me a response, that's cheating.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a question and you write a response and you ask chat to fact check it,
Mm.
that's not cheating. It's a independent reviewer.
Mm. Okay.
And there can be some gray areas into what percentage of change is happening to your document. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're
Mm-hmm.
starting with something you've written, then it's not cheating. At that point, it's review.
Okay, gotcha. Well, hopefully that makes y'all feel a little bit better out there. All right. So write your posts, write your things first, and then have AI fact check it and all that. Because I know that people do want to be responsible and walk with integrity when it comes to a lot of the work that they are doing. So, you're in this field, you're a techie, you're in this industry, and I want to know what most excites you about the future of AI.
what excites me is that all of the boring stuff we don't have to do anymore.
Mm.
I mean, we still have to fact check. We still have to make sure that it's doing things the way we want to, but there's a bunch of busy work as a developer that I used to have to do when setting up an environment, framework, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to have AI and automation take care of those things, be able to preempt some of that stuff, it can really be a productivity booster. And that's the really exciting part. Like
Yeah.
anything you want to accomplish, AI can help you do it.
Yeah. Whew. It's going to be interesting to see what comes out of, or what's the next iteration of our world, right? Because that's really what it is. What's the next iteration of learning and, and developing and all of that. So I'm interested to see it. So you are hosting a here at PCADI, we're hosting and you are doing this webinar called AI 101. Can you tell me, who is this webinar for, and what can people expect to walk away with when you do this webinar?
Yeah, so AI 101 is for everyone who wants to know what is the full capability of AI? What are the different categories? Where can it be used in my day-to-day operation? And how to use it, how to not feel like you're cheating, how to have it be a boost in your life. Like you get the A through Z rundown of what AI is and how it can really help you and how you can use it as a tool and not a liability.
Yeah, and it's going to be it's going to be helpful, because I know that, like I said, most people just don't know where to start when it comes to that. So you're going to be going in more detail and breaking some things down, and I'm excited about that. So as we close for the Dr. Kiki Ram fam, just if you could leave us with just one thing that you want to impart on us on this conversation, what would that be?
Now don't operate in fear. This is There's nothing scary about AI. It's not gonna immediately replace your job, but it is gonna change the way we live and the way we work.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
it's important just to start and start using it, play with it,
Yeah.
see
Yeah.
what it does. I mean, ultimately, it can only help.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Is there anything else, what's anything else that's going on with you? Share how people, if you all want the AI 101 to register for that, you can visit my LinkedIn, which is Dr. Kiki Ramsey, and you can also visit PCADI's Instagram. And we'll continue to post it and send it out via email. So if you're on our mailing list, you will also get this as well. But we would love for you to join us in that webinar, because we know that it's going to help you get from where you want to be. So any last things you want to leave us with?
I don't know, just be brave and be excited about this new change, and connect with us at PCADI.com and on our social.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, y'all. So if this was helpful for you, please, please, please share, like, subscribe, do all the things that you do to show somebody that you love their content. And we will continue to bring you all these amazing topics and special guests on the Dr. Kiki Ramsey Show. As I always say, you have the ability to go out there and be happy. You just have to learn how to create it. And if you want to get a copy of my new book, is on pre-order right now on Amazon. It's called Create Your Own Happiness, 7 Ways to Cultivate Happiness at Work and in Life. And I'm digging into really 7 research-backed ways that you can create your happiness at work and in life. And like I said, you can get that on pre-order on Amazon right now. The launch date is coming up in June. So get your copy right now. All right, y'all. We love you. Peace.